Hello guys, have you been guessing where you can get the best movie recap? Well, it's here on Riveted. A Quiet Place. Hello guys, welcome to Riveted. Today, I will be giving a recap on the movie A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place is an American science fiction horror film released in March 2018. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell. Grab a pack of popcorn or soda, and let's get started. On day 89, the movie began in a deserted pharmacy, where a group of people, later revealed to be one family, walked on their toes and only communicated with signs. Regan, the daughter and also initially deaf, found her mom, Evelyn, attending to Marcus, her brother. She left them and found Bo, her other brother, drawing on the floor and quietly playing. He communicated with her through a sign. He said the only way to get out of the earth is by using a rocket. He stood up, and Regan quietly followed. He wanted to pick a rocket that almost dropped to the floor, but Regan was there on time and prevented it. They went to meet their father, Lee. Soon, even Lee said they should go home before nightfall, as it would get dark soon. Bo took the toy rocket, which his dad made him put away because it would make too much noise. When they had gotten ready to leave, Regan secretly gave Bo back the toy and told him to be quiet. But unfortunately, Bo picked the batteries for the rocket too. While walking back home, Bo pressed a button on the toy rocket, which started to make noise. The noise alerted a nearby creature who promptly jumped out of the forest and killed him before Lee could rescue him. It was made known that sightless aliens with sharp hearing had taken over the planet. The family, therefore, took special precautions to avoid making noise, such as making sand paths through the forest to avoid stepping on leaves that could make a crunching sound, and that's why the family used sign language when communicating. On day 472, almost a year after Bo's death, the family seemed to have gone back to normal. Regan lay on the floor. She got up as soon as Evelyn approached her. They went back to the house. Lee continued to note his observation and research on the creatures. He wanted to get their weakness. While Marcus pretended to be driving his father's car without making any noise, Evelyn was several months pregnant. One night after dinner, Regan and Marcus were playing a game when Marcus mistakenly hit a lamp, causing it to fall, and the fire wanted to spread. But Lee took out the fire, and the family waited in dread for any signs of the creature approaching. They found out that it was a mouse that jumped out of the ceiling, and the creatures killed it. On day 473, Lee filled the pathway with more sand while Evelyn examined her heartbeat and her baby's heart rate. It was getting closer to her delivery date. Lee prevented Regan from getting apart across the house. He told her to use some frequency instead, but Regan was upset and said the frequency never worked. Later, Lee wanted to go fishing, and Marcus didn't want to join and told his mom to convince Lee. Evelyn convinced Marcus that he had to learn these things, and Lee will always protect him, so he didn't have to worry. Father and son then set out to go fishing. Regan was upset that she could not go. She went to Bo's grave. Marcus was scared that the creatures would hear them when a fish that Lee removed from the trap he set almost escaped. The fish leaped in Marcus's direction and he wanted to run, but Lee held him. Lee explained to him that the noise of the water is strong and the creatures will only attack if they hear a noise stronger than that which the river made. Lee took Marcus to the back of the waterfall and made noise. Marcus was scared, but Lee talked for the first time. Every other communication had been through sign language, and said that they were all right to make noise because the noise of the waterfall was stronger than theirs. He urged Marcus to talk, and Marcus did. Marcus asked why Lee didn't let Regan come along and if he blamed her for Bo's death, but Lee said no. Marcus said Regan blames herself for what happened to Bo. Lee said it was no one's fault and he still loved Regan. Marcus advised Lee to tell Regan that he still loved her. As Marcus and Lee returned home, they stopped in their tracks when they sighted an old man who was close to them. Marcus looked at the floor and saw that the creatures just killed another person. Lee signaled to the old man to keep quiet at the sight of the dead body, but he shouted. Lee quickly carried Marcus and hid behind a tree as the creature came out of the forest and killed the man. Lee covered Marcus's mouth tightly while Marcus covered his ears. Evelyn went into Beau's room and cried. Soon, Evelyn went into labor while no one was at home. As she went downstairs, she stepped on a nail, which made her drop a picture frame she was holding loudly. She flipped a switch, turning the surrounding lights around the house red. She tried to go back upstairs, but found out that one of the creatures entered the house after hearing the noise. As Marcus and Lee got close to their house, Lee saw the red light and ran in. Soon after, the alien entered the basement. Evelyn sets an egg timer. This distracted the creature and gave her time to run upstairs. Meanwhile, Marcus and Lee were already inside the house. Lee gave Marcus a torchlight and told him to make a very strong noise because Evelyn needs their help, and Marcus ran off to carry out the plan. Evelyn began to give birth in the bathtub upstairs as the creature slowly made its way towards her. Marcus set off fireworks to create a diversion. Regan saw the fireworks and ran back to the house. Lee took a gun, entered the house, and brought the baby and Evelyn into the basement. The baby cried, alerting a creature into the basement, but left after failing to find the source, breaking some water pipes in the ensuing chaos. Marcus heard the creature sound and ran till he hit the car and fell. Regan saw the light from Marcus's torch and stopped to know where he was. Meanwhile, the creature was behind Regan, but she couldn't hear it. Regan sensed the creature and set off her cochlear implant, which made a high-pitched noise that the creature couldn't withstand, and it ran off. Evelyn woke up in the basement and asked the kids after noticing that their plan worked. Lee said he was going to find them. The baby was a boy. Lee went out to find the kids, but he didn't notice the broken pipe and water was flowing to the basement where Evelyn and the baby was. Marcus and Regan went to the top of a silo and lit a fire while Lee checked the CCTV for any trace of Marcus and Regan. Meanwhile, Evelyn woke up in the flooded basement with the creature still inside. She hid behind a waterfront as the creature moved towards her. After getting into an argument, Marcus fell through the silo and Regan jumped after him. The creature in the basement ran towards the silo and attacked Regan and Marcus. Regan squeezed her cochlear implant, making a high-pitched noise. The creature, in pain, ran off, breaking a hole in the silo. Lee found them and told them to get in his truck and drive back to the house. A creature then appeared and attacked Lee. Marcus screamed inside the truck, turning the creature's attention to them. Lee, realizing that his children will die, signed to Regan that he has always loved her before screaming. The creature then kills Lee, giving Regan and Marcus time to drive back to the house. Back at the house, the children are greeted by Evelyn and they embrace before retreating to the basement after hearing a nearby creature shriek. In the basement, Regan saw that her dad was studying cochlear implants to help Regan hear, and she cried. A creature came into the basement. Regan took off her cochlear implant and slammed it on a guitar amp, knocking the creature out. The creature got up again shortly and tried to attack them, but Evelyn shot it in the head, killing it. With Marcus and the baby hiding in the corner of the basement, Regan and Evelyn looked at the security cameras and saw two other creatures running toward the house. Evelyn looked at Regan, smiled, and cocked her shotgun. The end. Alright guys, we have come to the end of A Quiet Place movie recap. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more movie recaps. Make sure to always check in on Riveted for a more exciting and detailed movie recap. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.